Hex. What are these?
So, Hex is a line and original comic series created by Dako, a popular indie video game Let's Player on YouTube. The comic series followed adventures of like these little dolls that all could be like torn apart, and they were all magic and stuff. And yeah, as the comic series dropped, Dako released plushies and merch of these little characters. And later on, he would go on to make a collaboration with FNAF. Sadly, like with anything, FNAF has kinda overshadowed the original stuff a little bit, but it's alright. I mean, Dako's still making the money from it, so I don't think he really cares that much. Either way, these plushies are very expensive, but they're very cool. They're incredibly high quality with a lot of cool materials, big plushies, and their main gimmick of being able to take off their parts, like magnets. Almost like they're little dolls coming apart and going back together. All their limbs have this feature, and as well as their accessories. I moved Freddy's microphone to the front of his hand because I thought it looked better, but yeah, pretty neat. If you watched my plush collection video, you'll know that they actually messed up my original order for Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy, but they actually fixed it and sent me Chica, so thanks guys. Don't boycott Hex. I don't know if that was a thing I instigated, but don't do that, because they're good company. Sadly, I haven't been able to pick up Foxy because he's been out of stock for quite a while, but I plan on picking him up when he goes back in stock. And there's also the new toy wave that came out. I'm also still kind of iffy I'm going to buy them, but I'm still probably at least going to pick up Foxy. The whole thing is Dako described these as if Henry or William were to create prototype plushies that they would sell at the prize counter. That's what these would be. Or you could also say that these are the little guys in FNAF 4 Crying Child's room, the little friends that he claims to have. Especially this little shit. I mean, look at these guys. He's got a walkie-talkie. He's literally conversating with the enemy, bro. But in the shuffle of said getting Chica, I actually managed to end up with a second Springbonnie. I guess it's a token of their gratitude for not just straight up refunding the products. They just let me keep Springbonnie, so now I have two. So that begs the question of this video. If you've read the title, you know what it's already about. What am I gonna do with this plushie? I'm glad you asked. I have a pretty interesting idea as to what I could do for this plushie. Obviously, Springbonnie is an incredibly important character in the FNAF series, and, you know, being the murder suit that William Afton used to murder children, I think that it could go to some very good use. My original thought was to make either a Springtrap or a Glitchtrap plushie, because obviously those two are very important characters to the series, but Dako said he's eventually going to get to those characters. He wants to do every character from the series at some point, so it would be kind of a waste to just make them now instead of just waiting for the official ones to come out, which are probably going to look miles better. So I decided I'm going to make a plush of William Afton inside the Springbonnie suit, if that's what this is intending to be. I think with the combination of the removable limbs and the face and stuff, I can make a really cool looking plush. So I am going to cut to some footage of me sketching out the idea, and you will see how my plan is for this thing. Okay, so I actually really liked the way this sketch turned out. I'm not sure how it's going to look one-to-one to this, but I think that the way I managed to incorporate a lot of my cool ideas into this design, I think is going to contribute to a really cool plush. Also, I actually gave Springbonnie the knife, so that is a much needed accessory for this guy. Alright, so if this ends up being successful, the next clip will be of me reviewing the finished plush. So, yeah.
A few moments later.
Alright, so after a couple hours of working on this, I have come out with a William suited Springbonnie Hex custom. I will admit, it didn't come out quite as good as I was hoping, but I think it actually did turn out pretty good still. You can see them next to the original Springbonnie, just as a comparison, and now I'm going to go over the features of it. So I think the best way to review this would be to take it apart, and then I can suit it together after. First up, we've got the head, which was probably the biggest change of this plush. First up, I cut out the eyes and changed them up. Now you can see William's purple skin behind the cloth sort of finish using felt. The buttons have now been kind of rearranged and placed, and instead of using a sort of green thread like Springbonnie, it uses white to again symbolize William's eyes.
And then we have the mouth, which I think was probably, I don't know, I tried with the mouth and it kind of didn't turn out how I was hoping it was going to, but I think it still turned out decent. You can see William's purple smile inside as it's open. The jaw kind of clams around under it. And yeah, I think from the front it looks good enough, but from the side I can kind of understand where it would look a little weird, especially considering the eyes and the mouth aren't even, but that's kind of how it is in the original Springbonnie too. Their snout sticks out very far, so there probably wasn't a whole lot I could have done about that. Either way though, I think it still looks pretty good. The body wasn't changed a whole lot, but now there are these individual little spots of the purple sort of skin showing through the costume. And also, I forgot to mention that the bottom of the head has that too. But yeah, generally the entire plush, all the limbs have been sort of replaced with these new spots, which you can connect together, and it's sort of supposed to symbolize when like the head's being moved around, you can see like William's skin, and it doesn't look too distracting. But yeah, it's supposed to generally be like his limbs and stuff connecting together inside the costume. Also, one other thing, I added little tiny stitch marks behind his back to sort of symbolize where you would zip up and down the suit to get in and out of it. But yeah, the limbs in general aren't super special, outside of the fact that they do have the, again, added little skin hole pieces in all the limbs, and obviously his right arm is fitted with the knife. The knife in general was a pretty easy prop to make. I basically just took the pizza cutter and cut it up. I made the hilt a bit smaller, added these silver buttons, and the knife part itself. I didn't have enough of the silver material from the pizza cutter to make a actual like silver knife, but I looked at a lot of pictures of kitchen knives, and it actually seems like that this part right here, this part of the starting, is a lot more silver than the actual knife part, which is more of a like kind of matte silver. So I think it ends up looking pretty decent. Although it is a little bit more, I'd say, fragile than the other Hex Plushies because, and I'm not mean that in like sense it's gonna break, I just mean because now there's different felt on it, so the magnets are a little bit impeded by the fact that there's more felt. Though generally it still stays together as long as you don't do things like flip it upside down or nothing. Oh, actually, never mind. Oh, well, like I said, it still stays together well. Like I said, it still stays together well enough, but it's a little bit more jittery. Plus, I think it makes a really cool effect that you can kind of see the black outlines of the limbs now, and it makes it look more like it's a costume that's like fitted, that he's been fitted into. Overall, as a custom, I think this turned out really, really well, and I'm very excited to use it in a future video. I know I had made that YouTube short with the Hex Plushies a couple weeks ago, and you guys seem to really like it. I'm not planning on making a Hex like plush series, conventionally as most people would expect, but I do have a really cool video with these guys planned after I get Foxy, and I think you guys will enjoy it. It's going to be a longer one, and I'm kind of going into more of a horror aspect with these guys, so I guess stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is a really fun little project, and I hope you all like the custom. So yeah.
Wait, there's only one thing left to do now with him. William Afton, for your crimes against humanity, you have been sentenced to death.